Right now at 5, rain in the forecast. Jason Stiff tracks it all in our First Alert Weather Center, and we talk to a beekeeper who says he desperately needs the rain. Plus, a suspect is arrested in the San Gabriel Elementary School incident. What Atascadero police are now saying of the threat that shut down the school for more than a week. And an update on Diane Thatcher, the college student reported missing, where she was found, and what role a Lompoc man had to play. KCOY-12 Central Coast News at 5 starts right now.
Live from the largest news team on the Central Coast with important local coverage, this is KCOY-12 Central Coast News at 5 o'clock.
We begin with a live look from our Tepisque cam. You can see the heavy clouds overhead, rain not falling down on the lens at this moment, but you can see some of the drops that have fallen here in recent moments. There have been showers and thunderstorms around the Central Coast, and some areas in southern Santa Barbara County even saw a downpour. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Scott Hennessy. Let's get right ahead to the First Alert Weather Center here. Check in with our meteorologist Jason Stiff on the conditions. Jason.
It's been nice to finally have a little bit of rain to see and experience and talk around the Central Coast. We take a live look at live storm tracker. Most of the Central Coast closer to the coast itself is devoid of the rain showers, but we still have some areas of rain and thunderstorms a little bit further inland, more active over the higher terrain in eastern San Luis Obispo County, getting into Kern County also. Now more active for a second time today for the south coast. One small storm has been moving through right around the Montecito area, just to the west of Carpinteria. Another small cell just offshore, going to be moving onshore between Goleta and Santa Barbara. As you can see, it was much more active a little bit earlier in the afternoon, but we're not quite done yet because there's still this area of low pressure in almost the same spot it was yesterday, pushing more of the clouds, and thankfully, they're rain-bearing clouds closer and closer to us. So we're not quite done yet. We still have a lot of moisture available. And you can see in Futurecast, even through the evening hours, there will be the potential for a little bit more in the way of rain. And we're not done with that tonight either. More chances are ahead. I'll give you more details in my First Alert weather forecast.
Jason, thank you. People up and down the Central Coast certainly hoping to get some rain from all the clouds hovering above. Some areas briefly saw a light rain or drizzle. KCOY-12's Natalie Tavidian was out looking for any rain hitting the ground this afternoon. She joins us live from Santa Maria with more.
Scott, I was looking for that rain, and it rained very briefly. It did dry up very quickly in northern Santa Barbara County area. So I was on Highway 166 headed from Santa Maria toward Cuyama. I didn't get that far, but I did see some drizzle out there. It didn't take too long for a lot of that rain to dry up. I did meet a beekeeper. He's from Bakersfield area who says he's desperately hoping for rain. He says that today he and many others are glad to see it, even if it was short-lived.
Because it gives more honey, more plants for the bees.
Okay.
And so we don't have to go out of state. Okay. All around this valley, we put bees for the...
Carrillo tells me that he has bees all over Santa Barbara County. He says he has some hives in Santa Maria and some in Santa Barbara. And he says that this year alone, he's lost 1,500 bees. He's had to take some of his business out of state because he says that there aren't enough flowers because of that drought. So certainly it is affecting their business. And back out here live in Santa Maria, it's been pretty muggy all day, but we really haven't seen any rain out here in Santa Maria just yet. Live in Santa Maria, Natalie Tavidian, KCOY-12 Central Coast News.
Natalie, thanks very much. California lawmakers are dropping a proposed plan that would allow violent criminals to work fire lines. Even though corrections officials say nearly 40% of the state's inmate firefighters out there now have been convicted of violent crimes. The new revelation is a sharp reversal from the agency's claim for years that only nonviolent convicts fight fires. The spokesman for the Corrections Department is blaming the misstatement on differing definitions of what constitutes a violent background. The union representing state firefighters was among the groups that raised public safety concerns over including inmates with violent backgrounds on the fire lines. We're learning new details tonight on the September 11th incident at San Gabriel Elementary in Atascadero. Within the last hour, Atascadero police announced they have arrested a 17-year-old boy who they say is responsible for planting a hazardous chemical at the school. KCOY-12's Corey James was at the press conference, and Corey, I understand the chief says this is one of the hardest cases that he has ever investigated.
That's exactly right, Scott. Chief Haley said that this was the hardest case that he's ever had to deal with in his 25 years in law enforcement. But as you mentioned, that suspect believed to be responsible in the San Gabriel case has been arrested. He's a 17-year-old Atascadero boy, and he is currently being held at the County Juvenile Detention Center. Now, here's some video of the press conference that happened just after 3 today. It lasted for about 30 minutes, and officials from the FBI and the Atascadero Unified School District were also present as Chief Haley delivered an update on this case. You may remember it all started about a month ago at San Gabriel Elementary School on September 11th when the school was evacuated after a number of teachers received this threatening letter outside of their classroom doors. The letter and chemical substance later found has left the suspect with possible growing charges.
Charges currently that we're moving forward with are possession of a weapon of mass destruction and or the use of a simulated weapon of mass destruction in the commission of a crime.
Now, some parents that I spoke with earlier today say they are surprised to find out the person responsible for this is a teenage boy.
I'm kind of shocked that it was a juvenile. So, but it's a big relief because it was really scary for all our parents and the kids in the school and everybody involved.
Now, in addition to that letter left for the teachers, this is the chemical substance that was found planted inside a candle holder that had the wax removed to put the hazardous chemical liquid inside. Police say it was found on the school's playground. Now, right now, police are not releasing where the juvenile suspect got it from. They are also not saying where he was arrested. Coming up tonight, I'll have more on that chemical substance found and how dangerous it was. I'm working that part of the story, and we'll have that for you tonight at 6. For now, we're live in Atascadero. Corey James, KCOY-12 Central Coast News.
Thank you, Corey. The missing woman Santa Barbara County Sheriff's deputies were looking for is back at her college dorm tonight. Authorities in Nevada found 23-year-old Diane Thatcher at her dorm room last night. Thatcher didn't even know people were looking for her. Her mother reported her missing on Sunday after not hearing from her daughter since the beginning of the month. Thatcher had met a Lompoc man in the Goleta area after her car broke down and her cell phone battery died. Thatcher reportedly stayed with that man for several days at various locations in Santa Barbara County. When she left to return home, he saw the media coverage indicating that she was a missing person and contacted the sheriff's office.
There was a happy outcome in this case. We're just pleased that we didn't have a homicide, that we didn't have a tragic ending.
There are many unanswered questions, but now the focus is on reuniting the family. In Florida, investigators from the National Transportation Safety Board are trying to figure out what brought down a small plane, killing the pilot and another on the ground. A surveillance camera recorded the final moments of the flight yesterday afternoon. The plane was going down at an angle, and seconds later, black smoke rose from the crash. The plane crashed into a home. The owner of that home described the seconds before the crash.
I heard the motor sounded really bad, and then it came, boom, it fell on top of the house. The door exploded open, and I was screaming, Benny, Benny, Benny. I went outside, and I couldn't do anything else.
The fire the crash ignited spread to a second home, was quickly put out. The crash happened about 3 miles from an airport. Democrats held their first debate in Las Vegas last night, and it was the leading candidates who shined brightest on the big stage. Craig Boswell has the highlights.
Hillary Clinton was flushed with excitement as she met with supporters following last night's debate.
We're gonna win!
Political pundits are saying Clinton won the debate by showing command of the issues and deflecting attacks while adding some jabs of her own.
Is Bernie Sanders tough enough on guns?
No. Not at all. Senator Sanders did vote 5 times against the Brady bill.
Bernie Sanders came to Clinton's defense on a controversial issue that's dogged her campaign.
The American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you. Me too. Me too.
And while Sanders proclaimed to be a democratic socialist, Clinton portrayed herself as a pragmatist.
I'm a progressive. But I'm a progressive who likes to get things done.
Sanders stuck to his populist themes and took Clinton to task for not being tough enough on big corporations.
Secretary Clinton, Congress does not regulate Wall Street. Wall Street regulates Congress. and we have got to break off these banks.
Clinton and Sanders overshadowed the three other candidates in the room and the one potential candidate back in D.C.
I think it closes an avenue. Today we're talking about her performance and not the huge vacuum in the race that needs to be filled by a white knight like Joe Biden.
Vice President Biden watched the debate from his home while he decides whether or not he wants to enter the race. Craig Boswell, CBS News, the White House.
Bernie Sanders' debate performance did help with the bank account. His campaign says it raised $1.3 million from more than 37,000 donors in the hours after the debate began. Star basketball player Lamar Odom fights for his life. We'll bring you an update on Odom's condition after he was found unconscious in a Nevada brothel. And here's a new one. An aunt tries to sue her 8-year-old nephew for giving her an overzealous hug. Will the court rule in her favor? That's coming up. Former Laker and L.A. Clipper Lamar Odom is on life support tonight after he was found unresponsive in a Nevada brothel. The Bunny Ranch owner Dennis Hoff says Odom looked healthy when he got to Nevada Saturday, but the Nye County Sheriff's Department says the NBA star had been using cocaine and several sexual enhancement drugs before he passed out. He also said 2 employees found Odom face down in his room.
911 said put him on his left side. And they did, started throwing up. He was still alive. Ambulance came, police came, took him to the Pahrump Hospital, Pahrump, Nevada. They immediately said, this is not looking good, and we need to get him, air flight him to Las Vegas, to Sunrise Hospital.
Officials say the 6'10" Odom had to be driven to the hospital in Las Vegas because he was too tall to fit in the helicopter. Officials haven't said what was wrong with Odom, and his condition remains unclear. Odom's ex-wife, reality star Khloe Kardashian, has reportedly been visiting with Odom at the hospital since Tuesday. A jury has thrown out a woman's case that tried to sue her 12-year-old nephew. The woman was seeking $127,000 in damages. She claimed her nephew broke her wrist when he jumped into her arms to give her a hug. That incident happened on the boy's 8th birthday. The woman claimed she was never looking for money from the boy. She just wanted the court system to teach him a lesson. The latest woman to earn the coveted Army Ranger title just graduated from the program. 37-year-old Major Lisa Jaster is also an engineer and a mother of 2. The Army announced Jaster's completion of the Ranger program Monday. Jaster joins 2 other women who are also part of the elite Army Rangers. The Army opened the Ranger School to women for the first time in April. A new poll says Californians are extremely concerned about the drought. The study says more than 3 in 4 voters describe the state's water shortage as extremely serious. That's an uptick from earlier this year. It follows mandatory water restrictions and public relations campaigns that focus on the drought. The drought is a subject many of us think about every day. We hope for rain frequently. We got just a little bit of it today. We are hoping for more. Let's go back to the First Alert Weather Center and Jason.
Yes, we will always welcome more. Fortunately, we have a little bit more falling right now. We're not done with that. We'll have more chances coming. As we take a look at our storm tracker radar, we have a couple cells that are moving over the southern part of Santa Barbara County. One of them moving toward Cachuma Lake, which is really good news for us. Had about almost 2/10 of an inch of rain around Carpinteria, about 1/10 of an inch around Gaviota, and we have a little bit more in the forecast for our areas around Goleta and Santa Barbara, but we're not quite done yet. We'll still have more chances for some wet weather too, and all the clouds and the rain showers really allowed us to cool a little bit. We're still above average in every location, mainly 80s, but we'll take these temperatures. They're easier to take than 90s. For Santa Maria, it was 84 degrees today, still 11 degrees warmer than it's supposed to be, nowhere near that record breaker of 101 degrees. But it is more comfortable in most locations, mainly 70s, a little bit more warmth for Paso Robles at 80 degrees. It's 78 in San Luis Obispo, 70 in Lompoc, a big difference from yesterday, 16 degrees cooler than it was at 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Also, almost 10 degrees cooler both in Santa Ynez and in Santa Maria. The wind, not quite as strong as it has been at this time of day. Everybody less than 15 miles an hour. Much of the country has actually very quiet weather right now. Plenty of sunshine, just a few rain showers over portions of Pennsylvania, getting closer to New Jersey. But we're keeping our eyes still to the southwest. That area of low pressure has hardly moved from yesterday, but it will start pushing on shore late tonight through tomorrow, and just enough moisture to give us a slight chance for showers over the mountains to our east on Friday, but we'll still have more chances for showers tonight and again on Thursday too, and then another trough moves our direction by Sunday. So lots of clouds are still streaming around that area of low pressure. And as we look at futurecasts, we're not done yet. Even tonight, a chance for some more rain showers along the central coast. Here's 9 o'clock. Just about 4 hours from now, more chances from just north of San Luis Obispo, southward toward Vandenberg. We'll have a quieter night tonight, and then more chances for wet weather beginning at noon tomorrow. Again, over the higher terrain is where we have the best chance for the rainy and possibly stormy weather by the middle of the afternoon. More chances from areas around Lompoc to just east of San Luis Obispo. Certainly over the higher terrain between San Luis Obispo County and Kern County, where we expect more rain and thunderstorms. But after we get past that, then our chances for wet weather go away fairly quickly. But the amounts that are in our futurecast are looking better. It would be fantastic to get over ½ an inch of rain around Lompoc. We would take over 1/3 of an inch in Santa Maria. We're going to see if it ends up being that much. That's a little enthusiastic, but we are encouraged by it. Here's your marine forecast. The wind, 15 knots. The seas swells up to 4 to 5 feet. And the temperatures of the water still mild in the mid to upper 60s. Here's your forecast on land. Expecting a high tomorrow of 80 degrees for Santa Maria and Orcutt. Still a chance for some rain showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the afternoon and evening hours. But after tomorrow, the chances are not looking very good. San Luis Obispo, a high tomorrow of 82, 87 degrees in Paso Robles. Still some isolated showers and storms for San Luis Obispo County tonight and again tomorrow afternoon. And for the south coast, a little bit of active weather this evening. Another chance for some rain showers and storms tomorrow afternoon, too, with highs in the lower 80s. The next 7 days in Santa Maria, after tomorrow, it does get quieter. And by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it gets warmer with highs back in those above average 80s. San Luis Obispo, 80s and lower 90s across the board, up to 90 degrees by Wednesday. And for Paso Robles, the 90s are coming back. A slight chance for showers tomorrow.
Okay, Jason, thank you. Coming up all new on Central Coast News at 6 tonight. Even though we got some rain, the heat wave has persisted. And tonight, local school teachers are coming up with plans to try to beat the heat while school is in session. We're live from a meeting. And scary moments for some travelers at LAX when a car accidentally made a wrong turn onto the runway. What the pilots had to do to avoid a crash. Those stories and more coming up after the CBS Evening News with Scott Pelley. Hospitals across the country are facing a limited supply of breast milk, but a San Luis Obispo hospital has teamed up with a group of mothers who are turning to donations to help out. KCOY-12's Nia Wong explains why the need is so great for their tiniest patients.
Under a glowing blue light, tucked away in a loving embrace, the first few weeks are critical for some of Sierra Vista's tiniest patients.
He spent 10 days in the NICU here at Sierra Vista.
Catherine Taylor remembers when her son Finnegan depended on donated breast milk, a memory which moves her to pay it forward, a few floors down from where Finnegan spent his first few days.
It's really nice to be able to give back and do it as well. So,
for mothers who can't provide their own milk,
and there are times when our moms cannot produce enough. Sometimes it's medications that decrease the milk supply. Sometimes it's a disease process that they have.
Sierra Vista has their own supply ready. Like hospitals across the state, local facilities are feeling the stretch to their already limited stock.
Mother's milk is the best that we can give, but when we don't have that, we rely on the donor milk.
But local moms are stepping up by wheeling in their own milk for the first breast milk drive put on by Sierra Vista and the Central Coast Breastfeeding Coalition. For Rachel Almazan, she took the day off work to share her milk, bagged and boxed for babes in need.
This is just a month's supply from when my son was born, August 13th.
Almazan says she can produce 28 ounces in one sitting.
And for me, that's a blessing because some moms, especially moms of preemies, can't produce that much. You know, and to me, I'm helping babies that really need it.
A simple gesture with big impacts for those getting as well as those giving. Reporting in San Luis Obispo, Nia Wong, KCOY-12 Central Coast News.
Cute little baby there. West Nile virus has killed a Ventura County resident. This year in Ventura County, more than 24 birds, a horse, and now a resident from Simi Valley have died from West Nile. In Santa Barbara County, some birds have tested positive for the virus, but there are currently no human cases. The virus is spread by infected mosquitoes.
About 80% of folks that do get mosquito bite with an infected West Nile virus show no symptoms at all. And only 1%, in fact, of people that get bitten by a mosquito that is infected will show serious symptoms.
Mild symptoms can include fever, headache, and body aches. In rare cases, the patient can experience severe symptoms that include numbness, paralysis, and vision loss. If you have any of these symptoms, you should be checked out by a doctor. It's a condition that strikes fear in the hearts of many parents. Pink eye. That's because it's one of the most contagious childhood viruses. Pink eye is an inflammation of the membrane that's on the front of the eye. The infection can be caused by different things. Some cases are due to bacteria. Some cases can be traced to allergens such as plant pollen. That kind is non-contagious. It's rarely dangerous, but experts say it can be.
Especially if there's really continuous rubbing, persistent infection, you can eventually cause some trauma to the eye.
Experts say it's important to see a doctor if the pink eye is accompanied with visual changes, pain in the eye, and intense redness. An Australian hunter stranded for 6 days lives to tell about it. You won't believe what he ate to stay alive. That's coming up on Central Coast News at 5. A hunter stranded in the Australian desert for 6 days says he survived by eating ants. But that's not the most remarkable part of his survival. After a massive land and air search, rescuers found 62-year-old Reginald miles from where he went missing. He was extremely dehydrated and a bit delusional, but otherwise doing well. Survival experts say it is even more extraordinary that Fogarty survived without any water in a region with temperatures that rise above 90 degrees. Let's go back to Jason.
Ooh, that is dangerous. What about our weather? We have another chance for some rain showers and isolated thunderstorms, not only this evening, but again tomorrow afternoon. Highs not as high as they have been, mainly 70s and 80s, but the chances for rain go away after tomorrow.
Jason, thank you. CBS Evening News with Scott Pelley is next. We're back at 6.